So you want to be a writer, you want to be an author, you have a story you want to write or a story you have already written. How to take an idea, get it down to paper and convert it into the best story ever, and then to make it a best-selling book. That is the context of my video today. This is Priya Kumar. I'm a motivational speaker and author, and I'm here in Kovalam making this video for you. So I wrote this book, How to Write a Book in 8 Days, because I have countless people writing to me, emailing me, sending me messages on how to write a book. There are people who've already written a book and don't know what to do with it. Well, what I did was, it's impossible for me to answer every question, especially when the questions are the same and the answer is the same. So I've written a book, How to Write a Book in 8 Days, to answer just that. Well, I'm one of those people who like to do work my way, and after having found a formula, I like to share it. And I have found that when people gave me correct guidance at the correct time, it helped me so much. It saved me so much angst, and it put me on the road to success faster. That has been my attempt with How to Write a Book in 8 Days. So if you look at the contents of the book, I have shared my story of how I became a writer. I didn't plan to be one. I was always good with communication, written and spoken both, but it never occurred to me that I could make a career out of it. No one told me, hey Priya, you should be a writer, you should be an author. And in my time, there were no opportunities such. You know, writers were considered people who were lost, who were miserable, who had their thela and were walking around with it. So no one really pushed me in that direction, and it took me 35 years to find my calling and to finally give it expression and write books. And ever since, 10 books and 31 awards later, I am still inspired to write. I have shared my story on how I became an author, and maybe somewhere it will resonate with you. Maybe somewhere it will give you confidence that, hey, if I'm writing blogs and articles or poetry, I can be an established author. Then the thing is, once you make a decision, okay, I want to write a book, what if language is not your best friend? What if you've never written? What if you don't know how? So I have put an entire program to consider before you get started on writing a book. And why is that important? Because it builds your confidence. And when your confidence goes higher and higher, then you take to the pen and the laptop and put to paper and words the story that has inspired you, that has made home in your head and heart, and take it to the world. And once there, how do you write? And every genre is different. It needs a different style of writing for a love story, for self-help, for fiction, for non-fiction. And I have given ideas on all, so that you're not confused, so that you can start on a step of confidence. You can start on a step of knowingness that if this is my genre, this is how I get started. And to add more value, I have written where the source of all my stories came in. You know, there are times when people want to write a book, or they have that writer's block and they don't know where further to think. I have written in simplicity how I wrote every single book of mine, the process, the ideation, the writing, and even the writer's block or areas where I got stuck. I have also written patterns where I recognize my own excellence and my own source of creativity. And guess what? Everybody that I have spoken to, people I have discussed this with, we have the same things. If you're going to take writing up professionally, then your process of writing also has to be very professional. How to be an organized writer. As much as writing is a creative field, if you don't put organization and processes to it, well, you are going to fall, and it's going to become the lengthiest process ever, where for years you'll say, I'm writing a book, and it's never done. Did you know? Because people lack organization, they also cut out on their stories. They can never think. And the worst curse on a story or on a book is if they stop in the middle, they cannot find their way forward. The writer's block is a curse, one that keeps people hanging for years and years for completion. So how to organize yourself such that the story flows, that you don't have any hiccups, that the creativity stays intact, and your bestseller finds its way through your fingertips. When your story is ready, how do you get feedback? How do you know this is a great one, that you didn't have any blind spots, that something is missing or something needs to be corrected? The entire process of feedback and editing I have written in this book to save you that rejection, because you know what? The story may be great, but if it's not formatted well, a publishing house will just put it away. And once done, how do you publish it? How do you approach a publisher? What are the do's and don'ts? Should you explore self-publishing where you have to pay money for the book? And once there, how do you market it? How do you establish yourself? How do you put your book into the hands of the readers? Because guess what? It is going to be your responsibility. I have explained that in great detail from my experience, and I have been around for a very long time. Like I said, 10 books and 31 international awards. My book has been translated into several languages. I'm sorry I lose count, because one keeps getting added every month, every 2 months, and I'm very privileged and honored. And I must tell you, behind all of this marketing and all of this reach is a lot of hard work on part of the author, which I have put and which I have perfected, and I'm sharing that with you. And let me also warn you, you're not going to make it to best-selling author only because you're a creative writer. You will get there because you're a creative writer and a hustler. So this book will also prepare you for the hustle. And then once you finish the book, let's say you had an idea, you haven't yet thought of it, you don't know how to write, you have a finished book, whatever your position may be. In the end, I have given you exercises on what you should do now. You don't just shut a book like this and go back to work or go back to sleep. What should you do once you're finished reading this book? The baby steps, the practical exercises that will keep you going and growing as an author, I have listed that out here. And in the end, I'm here. Then you can ask me a question which is not in the book. You can ask me a new question which is personal to you, and I am happy and honored to help you on the way. And I have a selfish interest in getting this out to you because I am an avid reader. I have written more books than I have written, and I want to read further great stories. Yours next. So I hope this helps. Thank you for being connected with me and allowing me the purpose to serve you. I will be back again next week with another video. Until then, happy writing.